Divorced. What is the craziest thing you or your former spouse did after divorce? We finalized the divorce in October. It was cold that morning, and I remember thinking the courthouse smelled like mildew and burnt coffee. We didn't look at each other much, just signed where they told us to, nodded when necessary. Afterward, we sat in silence in the parking lot. She asked if I wanted the blender or the air fryer. I said she could keep both. We had been married for 9 years. No kids, thank God. Just a house, a dog, and 1,000 shared routines that suddenly didn't belong to either of us. 2 weeks after the papers were signed, I came home to find the mailbox stuffed full of catalogs, political flyers, and one very large, very glittery envelope. It was addressed to Captain Richard Lovebeam. That was never my name. Inside was a card that played music when opened, Barry White no less, and a message written in bubble letters. Welcome to your new bachelor era. Live large, Lovebeam. No return address. 2 days later, I got a delivery. 6-foot inflatable unicorn, rainbow-colored, with a sign duct taped to its neck that said, "Your emotional support stallion has arrived." The delivery guy looked confused, but entertained. I tipped him $5 and dragged it into the garage. The next week, a strippergram showed up at my job, dressed as a divorce lawyer. She danced in the break room while my coworkers tried not to choke on their coffee. The song? Another One Bites the Dust. She left behind a cupcake with black frosting and a card that read, "You're free now. Try not to screw it up again." By that point, I had no doubt who was behind it. Emily always had a twisted sense of humor. When we were still married, she once threw me a surprise party themed "Welcome to Being Old" on my 30th birthday, complete with prune juice cocktails and a coffin-shaped cake. She loved a spectacle. I didn't. That was part of the problem. I texted her after the stripper incident. Just one word. "Really?" She replied with a winking emoji and the words, "Healing looks different for everyone." I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. A month later, I came home from work and found my front yard littered with plastic flamingos. Hundreds of them, all facing the front door like some kind of pink army. In the center of the lawn, a cardboard sign on a stake. "Flamingo Liberation Front says you're free." My neighbor watched from his porch, beer in hand, and said, "Dude, what did you do to that woman?" The flamingos stayed for 3 days before I managed to gather them all. I donated half to the local thrift store and gave the rest to my niece, who used them for a school art project about surrealism. Emily eventually calmed down. The glitter bombs stopped. The flamingos vanished. We both started dating other people. She married a guy who loves improv comedy and wears socks with puns on them. I moved to a new neighborhood where no one knew about the stallion or the strippergram. We're civil now. She sends Christmas cards. I send birthday texts. Once in a while, I get an envelope in the mail that explodes with confetti. No return address, of course. I never asked her to stop. Part of me misses the chaos.